Hey folks, Todd here. Today we're going to install the Roll-N-Lock M-Series XT on this 2024 GMC Sierra 1500. Now this is the same install for all Roll-N-Lock non-electric covers. The tools we'll be using for this installation are a ratchet with 7/16 and 13mm sockets, a Phillips head screwdriver, a drill with Phillips head bit, and a level. Let's go ahead and get started. In our kit, we're going to have a bracket that looks just like this. And what it's going to do, this kind of shelf is going to go underneath our bed cap. It's going to go right up against here. We're going to go ahead and pull our liner away. But when this goes in place, that hole in the bracket is going to line up in front of the hole underneath the stake pocket. And it's good to put something up on top of there just to make sure that it's right where it needs to be. So that's how we're going to set it when we set it in place. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take our hardware. We've got a bolt with a washer. It's going to go through that hole. And then on the back side, it's got threads in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to thread that down this bolt. Next, what we want to do is go ahead and fish that down into the hole, pull it tight, and then draw the bolt down to it to where it gets all the way up against the bed cap. And then we're going to snug that down with a 7/16. Make sure this stays nice and level with the top of the bed cap. All right, next what we're going to do is in our kit, we're going to have some butyl caulk strips. We're going to peel those apart. We're going to set that butyl caulk right up here in the corner, kind of work it into position. And that's going to act as a little bit of a seal right up there at the front corner. All right, repeat the same process for the opposite side. Okay, now normally at the driver's side rear, we would be installing this rail support bracket right back here, but because we have the multiflex tailgate, we've got this tailgate handle, so it covers up that location. We're going to be supporting the rail in a different way on the driver's side. However, on the passenger side, we will be using this bracket, so if you don't have this, the things I do on the passenger side, do that on the driver's side as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to install it over here. So we're going to pull our liner back and expose this hole. Now with this, just like the front bracket, we're going to have an aluminum block that has a threaded hole in it. And get that started. We're going to drop that down the stake pocket, bring this up, and then go ahead and get that snug. We don't want to tighten it down all the way. Sometimes it doesn't want to fit flush. So if you need it to fit flush, you can use this shim to go back behind. And that will help it to install at 90 degrees to the side of the bed of the truck. This one, we don't have any issues, so we're just going to install it just like so. I'm also not going to tighten this down all the way just yet. We're going to wait until we have the rail on top of here and start supporting that rail before I tighten this down all the way. But I am going to use my 7/16 socket to get this snug. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to set our canister on top of our canister brackets and push it all the way up against the bulkhead. It'll be overhanging the bulkhead as well. We'll also want to center it side to side and then go ahead and remove the canister cover. Okay, now that we have the canister set in place, we're going to go ahead and find our driver's side rail. We'll be removing this bracket right here, use a Phillips head screwdriver, and then we'll have this bracket that slides up in place. You want it to fold backwards, not like this. You want it to install like so. And then we'll put that bolt through there. And we're not going to tighten it down all the way because we still need to be able to adjust it forward and backward before we finally tighten it down. Then we'll also take a 13mm and remove this nut from our tailgate handle. All right, and one thing else to mention is I've already removed this piece right here. It's a snap out piece because we've got the Multi-Pro. All right, now let's go ahead and insert this into the canister up at the front. Before we do that, we're going to reach over here to the latch and turn that to the 10 o'clock position. That allows us to pull everything through there. Let's go ahead and slide that in. All right, now that that's in place, I'm also going to go ahead and lift up on the canister a little bit and then take this seal and work it underneath and set it back down. All right, next what we're going to do is use the provided Allen bolts with lock washer and go up through the clamps and loosely install both of our clamps. And then what we're going to do is take our cargo nut and screw up at the front line that up with the rail and run that through. We're going to tighten that down and repeat the same process on the opposite side. All right, now over here on the passenger side, we've got the support bracket for the rail. So what we're going to do is in our kit, we're going to have a smaller Allen head wrench with a washer. What we're going to do is slide this over to line up to the hole that's in the rail. We're going to leave everything loose so we can adjust it, but we're going to get that started. All right, next what we're going to do is go ahead and close the tailgate, and then we're going to go ahead and pull the rails back to where these surfaces right here rest against the tailgate. All right, next what we're going to do is take our canister guard. Now, if you notice on this guard, it's kind of notched out here as well as over here. And what that is for is so that you've got a spacing you can get between the two rails. So these rails need to come together to match this spacing in between the canister guard. And we also want to make sure it's centered in the bed of the truck. So if we've got a little bit of a gap over here, it needs to match the gap that's over here. Let's bring that together. All right, now we can go ahead and tighten down our hardware on both sides. Be sure to maintain a 1/8 inch vertical gap between the top of the bed cap and the bottom of the rail end cap. We'll also tighten down the 7/16 here and use our provided Allen wrench to tighten down this right up here. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to take our self-tapping screws. We're going to go to our canister and drill through the canister into the canister bracket down below. Repeat the same on the opposite side. Okay, next what we're going to do, make sure our latch is in an unlatched position. We're going to go ahead and remove our plastic wing nut. That way we can free up our strap. We're going to pull it to the tailgate, make sure everything operates properly. Then we're going to go ahead and attach our canister lid. Now, if I flip it upside down, I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, we've got hardware that's taped into the bottom of it. We're going to go ahead and peel that out of there and set that to the side. This is what's going to allow us to attach the canister lid to the canister. On the canister lid itself, on each side, we've got a peg that's sticking into the inside of the canister. When we flip this over, that peg is going to drop down into this slot. Do that on both sides, and you can slide it back towards the tailgate, and it will stop at this point here. Then this hole is going to line up to this hole. We can attach our hardware from our kit using a Phillips head screwdriver. Okay, so here is the canister shield that we use to get the spacing on the rails. Now I've already gone ahead and removed the protective film off of the top of it. I want to point your attention to the holes that are in there. We've got a round hole at the top and oval holes at the bottom on each side. The hardware in our kit, we've got a rubber washer. It's going to go behind each one of those holes. And then we are going to fit one of the black screws through that rubber washer and through the canister shield. We're going to get all 4 of those holes set up just like this, and we're going to line it up to these locations here and then screw it in with a Phillips head screwdriver. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and install our drain tubes. Now on the bottom of our canister on each side, we're going to have a drain spout that comes out and just fit it on. It's a barb fitting. Now, since we have a Husky Premium bed liner, what we're going to do is we're just going to route it through a hole out here. That way any kind of runoff water that comes out of the canister will go between the liner and go out the natural weep holes of the truck. All right, repeat the same on the opposite side. Okay, now in your kit, you're going to have a bottle of 303 aerospace protectant. This is going to be used to lubricate your rails. Let me show you how to do that. We're going to pull the lid off, and then we're going to squirt a generous amount into a microfiber cloth. Take that microfiber and run that up along the top seam. Coat the bottom of that seal very well. We're going to do that on both sides. And then we're also going to flip that over and get the glide well lubricated as well. We're going to do that on both sides. All right, now with the strap, whenever you unravel it, you'll notice you got a carabiner at the bottom. We've also got our keys, so we can go ahead and pull those off of the carabiner. And then it's recommended make sure you take and attach your carabiner to the tie down on the back. Never let the strap rest on top of the canister while you're driving. All right, now your cover is installed and you're ready to roll.